I want you to imagine a farmer in the Midwest 100 years ago. He works hard all day long. He lives off the land. He's close to creation. He helps the cow. He's got 1,000 head of cattle. He helps the cow give birth to the little calf. Hands-on experience. He's close to the land. He's close to creation. No internet, no TV, no cell phone. This farmer, if we could go back 100 years ago, would never look out across the landscape and say, those couple bulls I've got for breeding, that bull, he would really look good dressed up like a cow. That thought, that kind of erroneous thinking would never enter his head. And he would never look across the landscape and say, those two bulls, they'd make a great couple. No, because he knows how life is produced. He understands that. He's helped the cows give birth to the little baby calf. He understands how things operate. And so he would never say those two bulls would make a great couple. Never. And he would never think of enabling his enemy. This farmer living in the Midwest 100 years ago. Farmers have enemies. You don't want the foxes to raid the hen house. And so this farmer would never think, I'm going to open the door to the hen house and just see what happens. No, because it's self-preservation. That's how he takes care. That's how he feeds his family and his wife and his children. And so he would never think of enabling, as we have done as a nation, to Iran. He would never think of enabling his enemy because it's insanity. Now, I know something about the soon coming kingdom of God. And I need to share that with you. Much of the change that will take place in man's heart will simply take place by changing his environment. Change a man's environment, change his heart. Now, how this soon coming kingdom of God will be different. Now, I want to clarify. Christ returns to this earth. I'm not talking about heavenly retirement. Heaven doesn't need fixing. There's nothing wrong with heaven. It's down here where men are that needs fixing. And Christ said, I'm going to return to this earth and establish my government, my kingdom on this earth. Now, these verses I'm going to share with you are kingdom setting. In other words, Christ has returned, and this is what it's going to be like. Micah 4 and verse 4. But they shall set every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid, for the mouth of the Lord of hosts has spoken it. Israel back then was an agrarian society. They lived off the land. And this is what we're going to revert back to. It says every man's going to sit underneath his own fig tree. Every man's going to have his own plot of land. He's going to live off the land. Again, change a man's environment, change his heart. Isaiah 35 and verse 1. The wilderness and the solitary places shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as a rose. Now here we're talking about the transformation of landscape. There is a verse in the Bible, and I think in Revelation, where it talks about no more seas, no more oceans. The ocean, now, I believe there will be smaller bodies of water, smaller oceans for all you ocean lovers out there. I couldn't stand the thought of no more ocean, just none. But here's the point. 71% of the earth is covered with water. And what we're talking about is making the expansion of more land. Why? Because we're going to spread people out. They're not going to be living on top of each other in the inner cities like they are now.
Check us out on the web at isthatreallyinthebible.com.